By this time, he was becoming impatient at the failure of peaceful protest. His thoughts were turning to other methods.
It was quite clear that the apartheid regime did not want to have any discussions with us. And I was the man who proposed that we should take up arms.
Did you have any doubts about crossing the Rubicon of violence?
No, I was determined that the time had come.
There are many people who feel that it is useless and futile for us to continue talking peace and non-violence against a government whose reply is only savage attacks on an unarmed and defenseless people.
The idea in my mind was not that we were going to win, but that we were going to focus the attention of the world on our demands.
Mandela now established a new military wing of the ANC. Their targets were power supplies and government buildings. The aim was to avoid loss of life, but Mandela later wrote that if sabotage failed, he'd adopt other methods. You said you were starting with sabotage, but you said that if that didn't work, you'd consider terrorism and guerrilla warfare. How far is it right to go?
We never embarked on terrorism.
But you said you would if sabotage didn't work, didn't you? You wrote it you would.
Terrorism means any individual, organization, or state that targets innocent individuals. That's what terrorism is. We never did.
In 1962, Mandela left South Africa illegally to raise funds and recruit fighters throughout Africa.
We made it clear that your object is military targets. Part of my training was what they call demolition work. I was expert in exploding bombs.
When Mandela returned to South Africa, the intelligence services were on his trail. On the road to Johannesburg, he was arrested and charged with leaving the country without a passport. At his trial, Mandela denounced the proceedings against him, saying he was a black man being wrongly tried in a white man's court, and he defiantly wore his traditional dress. Found guilty, he was sentenced to 5 years in jail. But the ANC continued their campaign. A year later, at a farmhouse in Rivonia near Johannesburg, the entire top leadership was arrested. Police found plans for sabotage and guerrilla warfare, which implicated Mandela. He and his colleagues now face serious charges of plotting against the state. If convicted, they faced the death penalty.
I said to our chaps, we are going to die in any case. Let's disappear under a cloud of glory. Let's show them that we can use their platform to fight them.
Facing the gallows, Mandela turned the courtroom into a political platform with a dramatic speech from the dock.
The idea of a democratic and free society, it is an idea for which I hope to live for and to see realized. But my Lord, if it need be, it is an idea for which I am prepared to die.
After an agonizing 3-week delay, the judge finally gave his verdict.
Right up to the time When the judge said, stand up for your sentence on the 12th of June 1964, we expected the death sentence. There was a collective sigh of relief when he said, life imprisonment with hard labor.
I shall never lose hope, and my people shall never lose hope. In fact, we expect that the work will go on.
The vast majority of the white people expected the death sentence to be imposed, and they were disappointed that it was not.
What was their view of Mandela then?
He was a terrorist. If you asked 10 white people what was Mandela's occupation, 9 would not have known that he was an attorney. He was just a black terrorist.